You've got the pick of the bunch.
Do we want to chat about, sponsor views? Because Ubisoft have a official stance that they will not permit gambling sponsors, alcohol sponsors, etc.
Does it improve
of that light?
R6?
I mean, EA is similar with Apex, so it's not like Ubisoft are like trying to be the lone soldier and be like, hey, we're really good. Look how brand friendly we are. It is consistent across many publishers. I would assume Riot is probably similar to some extent. I don't think I've ever seen drinking or gambling sponsors on their streams, but I mean that if you want tier 2, then you're probably gonna have to make concessions in other ethical grounds or whatever, because that's where the money for that kind of stuff is going to come from.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I think that is there a precedent for it? You look at kind of like Counter-Strike, and they're a little bit more open to it. Probably just the nature of their game.
Yep.
They got case openings, right? So it's kind of in it.
Gamble.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more ingrained, I think, in the culture of Counter-Strike, in that esport.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not as prevalent in a lot of other esports, which try to go for a bit more of that clean look. Typically, probably to do with the publishers themselves. As we know, obviously, Valve are extremely hands-off when it comes to Counter-Strike. So they're probably not too fussed. It doesn't really bother them. And at this point, clearly, it makes them a lot of money. It obviously works for them. So as long as that keeps on ticking, I don't think they'll care. But for Siege to now go ahead and say, okay, we'll allow esports betting, we'll promote it on the streams, that'll bring an influx of money.
Oh, for sure.
Is that going over the top? Does it maybe harm the image versus the income, the revenue that you get from it? I honestly don't know. I'm a mixed bag on it. And probably in the past, I've been more for these kind of things. Gambling, is not obviously a great thing, but if
it is when you win.
If it's going to pay the bills, right, then realistically, it's something that is done in traditional esports just about everywhere. It's a human nature thing. I mean,
it's done in traditional sports everywhere. Gambling in general is outside of TV rights revenue is fucking huge. So, we're obviously conceding a large part of a potential pie in blocking out those forms of investment.
Brand image versus money.
But it's such a difficult discussion to have. It's probably one that has been taken place.
Oh, you would
behind
imagine.
the scenes, probably ongoing.
Yeah.
But
what do you lose by going down that path? Is it harder to secure certain venues, events? Can you do this in certain countries? Is this an issue in Japan or Korea? It's not as easy as just allow gambling sites and make lots of money. It's not that simple. It's not that easy, and it probably could have some negative effects. So, does that fix R6? Not necessarily. At least not straight away. Not that easy. I think there's other avenues, grassroots tournaments, in-game